Hi everybody, it's Diane. I'm going to work some more on the fairy journals. Last night I just put together some fabric flips with some fabrics I had selected. So I didn't sew them, I just pinned them, but when I'm ready to put them on the book, they'll get sewn together at that point. So I have them ready. And then I was looking for my fairy stamp. I only have one, and it's a nice large one. It's a Cicely Mary Baker Flower Fairies stamp. It's a sweet pea stamp. And Barker. I'm sorry, it's not Baker, it's Barker. I picked this out a long time ago because my little sister, this reminds me of me and my little sister, except my hair was blonde when I was little and so was hers. Hers was blonde her whole life. And she was 10 years younger, and I used to have to help her get dressed for school and church and stuff. She drove me a little crazy because she would curl her little toes up while I was trying to put her shoes on and laugh at me. But anyway, this older girl is adjusting her hat. So that's what it made me think of. So I bought this stamp. So that's a special image to me. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do. I don't really want to paint all that detail, but I'm not going to work on that today. I want to, what do you think about these dragons? I know it's a fairy journal, but dragons are mythical, magical creatures too. And I have these adorable stamps of pocket dragons, they're called. They look like books. And I bought them from a company called VIP. In 1999 is the year on the stamps. I don't even know if VIP is still in business. But I thought these stamps were so cute, and I love them, but I don't get to use them very much. So I thought I would make some journal cards to put in the journals, but I won't attach them, so if whoever gets them wants fairies but not dragons, they can just take the cards out. So I painted one. I painted two actually, but I like the way this one came out. So I'm just going to paint another one. Thought I would bring you along with me. I'm just using some Stampin' Up! Stamp pads and these water brushes to do the painting. And I'll show you how I do that. So I'm going to take Gumball Green and I'm just going to press it so that when I open it, there's some color on the lid. You can also, if you have watercolor markers, like the Stampin' Up! Markers that go with these, they're water-based markers, I should say. You can just scribble them on a plastic sheet. I used to use an old Tupperware lid, but the craft sheets work good, the silicone craft mats. Just scribble your marker on it, and then you can dip a wet paintbrush or one of these in the color and use it as watercolor. So I'm going to paint my dragon with the green. How's everybody doing during this stressful time? I have plenty of food. I have more food than I normally keep on hand. The shelves in the grocery store are pretty empty. The freezer doors were empty. I did find some of the individual frozen pizzas. I was able to get a pack of those so I can have them in the freezer, but no bread at all, no milk, no eggs, no paper products, no hand soap, no sanitizer. I did get an extra laundry detergent. But the toilet paper is made in the US. It's not like we have to get it overseas. So hopefully they'll get that restocked. But people are being nuts, and every time it gets restocked, they wipe it out again, and I don't get any. I happened to find some at the drugstore when I went to pick up some prescriptions for my son when he had the flu. and I saw some on the shelf, so I got some, but I wouldn't mind having another pack or two. So I painted him green, and it turns out quite light because it's very washed out with this water brush. Now I'm going to add some Cameo Coral. Oops. Forgot to do the squeezy part. I do have Stampin' Up! Markers. I'm just not sure where they are right now. I think I could find them if I looked. I think they're in the closet in the office, but I'm not positive. I did just spend quite a bit of time kind of doing a temporary organization. I guess I have to just learn to live with what I have because it's going to be a while before I get my shelves up on the walls. So I'm trying to make it a little more usable. So I'm just adding this Cameo Coral to the inside of his ears. I should, let me zoom it in. There, that's better. I'm sorry, I meant to do that. And I had painted green on his nose and neck and everything. It was all green, but I'm just adding little touches of the coral just to highlight some of his areas, his skin. I could touch the brush right on the stamp pad too. But when you, like with this guy, I left his nose bare, like the ear, and I left bare patches, and then I put this in, and it's just too bright. I like putting it on top of the green. And it makes it more subtle. And I didn't on this one, but I'm gonna put a little yellow on his belly. See what that does. I have several yellows. This one is Daffodil Delight. And I'm going to put a little more green back on his knee because his knee is too pink. It's darker. This batch of green is more saturated. So I'll do some shadowy areas with that. Okay, now I'm just going to paint his slippers and his cap and his candle. I do have trouble stamping with these stamps, it seemed like no matter how careful I was, something wouldn't come out. So I had to draw black to finish the flame, and I had to draw this part of his tail on this one. This one stamped pretty good. It stamped really well. And see this edge of the couch I had trouble with. But it kind of looks like that, kind of fuzzy at the end. This one, the books didn't stamp. So I stamped a lot and got a few images that I could use. My husband liked these dragon stamps, so I made him a bookmark with, I think with this little dragon. I painted him just like this and laminated it and made him a bookmark, and he kept it in his Bible. So I have that now preserved with the personal things of his that I wanted to keep. I love his little nightcap too. I know that I heard that San Francisco is under lockdown. I think that's the only United States city that is. So that's why I kind of wanted to get more supplies in case we end up, I don't think we will, but you know, I didn't think it would go as far as it has. You never know. I'll put a little pink, whoops, a little pink on the flame before I add the yellow. Today's Tuesday, the 18th of March. And that's where we stand right now. As far as I know, only San Francisco is under lockdown. But I saw somebody put on Facebook that our hospital is going to be locked down starting tomorrow. So I don't really know what that means. No visitors, and maybe only necessary appointments. I'm not sure what that means, but my daughter-in-law works there in the ICU, so I'm sure she'll still be going there. And then for the background, I used a bluish green color. Handsome Hunter, I think, is what I used, but it ends up looking bluish green when you watercolor with it. And I'll have to cut these out and make them into a journal card somehow. I have to glue them to something because you can see kind of the warped paint look through the back. There. That one's done. I hope I was in frame. I want to do one of these properly. Thank you all for purchasing glue books. This one looks darker. Our pastor and deacons are having a meeting tonight to discuss what to do about our services. Because our governor, probably most governors, or maybe it's federal government, has recommended, it's not mandatory I don't think, but they've recommended that people groups of no more than 50, and maybe I've heard no more than 10 now, I'm not sure, but 50 I know I had heard. And our church, has more than 50 people that come. Even last week, a lot of people stayed home, the older people and those with weakened immune systems and those that were sick, because we've had flu in this area. They stayed home, but even then, we still had more than 50 people in church. So we do live stream, and I've never watched live streams because I'm always in attendance, but I think they're going to recommend that, like, pastor would just maybe be in his study, not standing in a pulpit preaching to an empty church, but just preaching the word from his study desk, and we could live stream watch it. So I would be interested in knowing what's going on in your community, how your towns and churches are handling things like this. Didn't get much ink there. hope you're crafting with me. Not just sitting there watching and not hearing anything from me. Let's try this more mustard for the feather. And I'll put a little dusty Durango on it too. Sorry, I was holding that right over the picture, wasn't I? Just want to put a little green on the inside of his ear. Just a tiny bit. Okay. He's cute. This one has an awful lot of detail. But boy, does he look comfy. He's sitting on that cushy couch with books and his journal, and I'm saying it's a journal because he's got a pen and ink there, and his cup of coffee or hot chocolate. That's a good situation for a dragon. Okay, I don't want to bore you with more painting, but I'll probably have to do a couple more, at least one more, no, 2 more, so each journal can have one. And I'm thinking I might just do a color wash over this, but maybe not on camera because I don't know how it's going to turn out. So I think what I'll do now is look at my Elsie Bells. First I'll back out. Look at my Elsie Bells embellishments and see what I can, where I want to put them in this journal. Here are my pages. I want something on the front. I like that. I have some colored vellum that was on rolls at Michael's years ago, before I started making junk journals. And it was Martha Stewart. They had vellum, glassine, and tissue paper, and they were all clearanced out when I saw them. So I bought like 1 roll of each color of each. So I had a lot, and they're just, because they were on rolls, I never thought to use them. So before I moved, when I was, going through everything and destashing, I cut all of these off the rolls, and I have some set aside that I will put in my shop. But I made glassine pockets for each signature. Not glassine, yeah. What is this? Vellum. I made vellum pockets. So now I'm going to take this, and I need a contrasting piece of cardstock. So, just grab some cardstock here. This is my scrap bin of cardstock, and I don't know if I'll find a piece large enough. For that card. Could use black. Brown would be softer. If I trim it a little narrower, that would work. Trim this a little narrower. I think we'll just go with one of those. Or that. Okay. I'm sorry. No, I'm not going to keep apologizing for making noise. I can't help it. I actually think I like this one. So what I will do is I'll cut this around it, and then I will sew around the card, and then I'll put it on here as a pocket. But I'm not at my machine, so the sewing will get done off camera. And then I'll be able to put a card in there. That would be too small. Well, we'll put something in there. Okay, now I have some little fussy cuts. Oh, sorry. Pine cone, flowers, got all these little fussy cuts to use. Look at that adorable card. Those will probably go in pockets. If I move this doily somewhere else, I could put a fabric flip on it, or I could do it here, because I like the doily where it is. I took the doily that I used, the doilies that I used as stencils for spraying my papers, and I had to cut off the bottom part so that they would fit in, and just putting them in as a decorative element. So I will select a fabric flip to put here. I don't have scraps, cut off scraps of the paper because I used them to add on to the width. So I like to use the scraps to make pockets. I'll have scraps after I make the other journals, but I forgot I had these book pages. apologize for that noise. I knocked my ATG gun off onto the floor. Okay, here's what I have to work with. I have some more of the Fairy Bower pages. I've got these scraps from Graphic 45. This is from Graphic 45, but the picture part is gone. It's a postcard. I just want a pocket there. I think I will make a fabric one. I've got some beautiful fabrics and embroidered pieces, so I'll just do one of those, and then I can tuck one of these in, and then one of the Elsie Bells cards in there. I could decorate that with it. Yeah, that would be simple. Just do a simple decoration. I was just thinking of getting out some mulberry paper to layer under it, but I think simple will be good here. I found my stencils, by the way, as I was trying to organize things in here. So I had a empty plastic drawer in one of my drawer units waiting for the stencils. So now they are safely in that drawer, and I will know where to go when I need a stencil. But it was serendipitous that I couldn't find them, because I do like the doily stencils that I did in this book. I'll have to ink that because I didn't get anything printed on the back. This is one of the Elsie Bell pages. Not sure where I'll put tabs. Maybe I'll put some tabs at the top because I have laces sticking out, but I could do tabs at the sides of the pages too. I guess I just don't know what I'm doing yet in this book. If I put a pocket across here, some of the ink goes through the papers, and I wouldn't mind covering that one up because it was kind of dark. So I could put a pocket there, a fabric pocket, and then do something different on the back here. Don't know what yet, but do something. I'm going to trim this a little bit narrower. I'm going to go get my little pile of fabrics that I pulled for this project, and maybe we can pick out a fabric. I just neatened everything up, so So I have two neat little piles here. I have fabrics and I have laces and doilies that could be used for pockets. I think I like the colors of that. Back down to some plain fabric. Now I know cutting crochet will make it start unraveling, but I'm going to sew it so that will prevent that. This is a wide piece of eyelet fabric, but the top part does have little stitching and curved lines there. Can you see it? But it's plain enough that I can use that for the top, for the under pocket here. Look like a black cat hair, and I don't have any cats. You can see how that end is much higher than this end, so we'll even that up. Folding things helps you to see how you can fix things a little better. There. So I will sew that all together and then sew it on as a pocket. I don't want to safety pin that because I'll get the safety pin caught in the crochet. I know I will. Oh, I need to cover that. What will I cover it with? I didn't really understand why Graphic 45 put all these Beatrix Potter images on the fairy paper. It's called Once Upon a Springtime, so I guess they're bunnies for springtime. But it was mostly fairies in this paper kit. It was an old one, 2010, 10 years old. Maybe I could put some of these book pages. This one is, she might be a mermaid. There's a fish swimming by. fairy song. It needs a little trimmed off. So once again, I would like to put some of these journals in the shop without reservations. This one has already been reserved, this book. The smaller ones, one of the pink ones is reserved. And that leaves 3. So I think I would like to put all 3 of the remaining ones just in the shop. So no more reservations for fairy journals. Then on this side I can put something that can actually be journaled on. And I know you can see through that because it's black marker coming through. I will add maybe this to it. Some washi tape up there. I could do a collage effect with journaling papers to help kind of disguise the black X's. So I put that there. You can still journal on all of it. If I put that up there, then I don't need to use washi tape. But I don't want these X's showing in between the 2 papers. So I do have some little scraps left. Yeah, I'll just use that width. But I've got more. Oh boy. I hate when that happens because it usually causes a problem. Maybe it won't. Let's just see. No, it's okay. I don't know how it happened, but I know one time when the leader tape broke, I ended up with the sticky tape on that side. I have no idea how that would have happened. And I kept trying to fix it, and I ended up just throwing the roll away. But this one seems okay. Okay, back to business. Well, there. Don't want to break off. So maybe I'll put a little piece of washi tape across the top, but it's just numbers up there. Oops, I didn't cut that to the right width. That's okay, it'll just carry over onto that page. I think I like that. It has more lines on it. Okay, so there's that page, and we're at 51 minutes, 52 minutes. So I am going to turn the camera off, and I will do the sewing for this signature. And then I'll come back and do some more tomorrow. I don't have to work tomorrow, so I can start early in here. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you'll come back and see what else we end up doing in this fairy journal. Bye-bye.